Okay. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's up, everyone?
We're here at the table again tonight. This is our last night of a 4-part series.
But dude, it's been awesome though. I've been enjoying it. Like I love the conversations.
Oh, I think that's the best part of it, really.
I
think getting to know you. I see you have a lot more stuff on your table.
Dude, I got a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. Look, everybody enjoys, man. I love to play with some Play-Doh. You know, some good stuff. Too. Stress relief. Oh, you got a Play-Doh.
I got a Play-Doh.
Oh man, we should change, man. I like orange better, but you know we can do it.
Orange is my church's color. So
it's your church. Oh man, you're gonna have. Okay, it's okay. I'll settle for the green then tonight.
How come you got all the good stuff, man? They give me like tissues, man. They're assuming that I'm gonna cry like this entire time.
It's because your nose is constantly in the spotlight.
My nose is constantly being exposed.
Your nose wants stardom, bro.
That's it. Man. I feel like it's been good vibing with you. It's been good getting to know you a little bit. I know a little bit more about you now than I did when I first walked in here.
Same for me to you, bro.
I found out that Felipe wears socks to sleep sometimes.
There's no shame in that, guys. Wear your socks, especially in the wintertime.
Keep your feet
warm. It's important.
Feel like I think that one was not as bad as you dipping banana in cocoa powder.
That is great. Okay, I will not listen, sir. Take that back. That is not a crime at all.
I feel like that's the result of if you did a crime and you landed, you did some time because of a crime. You learn those are tricks that you learn, like you wear socks in bed.
Right.
And chocolate powder.
Listen, but at least it gives me like a tough personality in front of people. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen some stuff, guys, and I got a beanie on, and I did banana and chocolate powder. Yeah.
What do you even have underneath that beanie, bro?
Bro, secrets, man.
You got Vita Coco on your table
all the time. You gotta enjoy it, bro. Listen, it's all part of the progress. The more shows we have, the more you'll learn. All right, just learn to accept that. It's gonna happen.
Well, listen, we're so happy that you guys are here. We are wrapping up, like I said, but we don't want to move forward without prayer. So let's have a really quick prayer, and we'll move on with the show.
Definitely.
How about that? Let's do that. Father, I want to thank you so much for bringing us here tonight. I pray that your presence reigns supreme, your presence reigns true, and your presence reigns over all of the things that are happening tonight. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen.
Amen.
So we've had a revolving Nook, right? And the Nook is our commentary section. It's the place that we go to keep us level-headed, right? Because us guys, we can get kind of full of ourselves. Obviously, maybe you more than me because you have all this stuff on your table.
And I sleep with socks.
And you sleep with socks.
Yeah,
but we go to the Nook for comfort and making sure that
that we stay grounded. We stay level-headed.
So we've had an awesome 3 days of the Nook, and we have a new Nook today. And this Nook is comprised of my very own people.
Your people?
My people.
Your people? Okay.
My Filipino people. Let's take a look at the Nook today. Who do we got here? We have, let's start with Captain Arroyo. I rolled that R. Did you notice that?
I did.
Arroyo.
Do you approve of the R roll?
No.
No.
People don't people do it for me, but
you don't
not
require
how my parents say it, so
they keep it easy, like Arroyo.
Yeah, Arroyo.
Arroyo.
Captain, do you where do you hail from? Let's go there. Where do you come from? City-wise, state-wise.
City-wise,
yeah.
Here.
Here, what part of here?
I was born in Chicago.
Ooh, what part of Chicago? What hospital? Niles. Okay.
Lutheran Hospital.
Lutheran Hospital, Niles. And then what school do you go to now?
I go to HAA.
And you are a
junior.
You're junior.
Nice.
You're a junior level person there. That's pretty high level. Do you feel empowered now that you're a junior of the school?
Well, I mean, yes, actually.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've been to that school my entire life, and it's kind of interesting being an upperclassman now, so I kind of rule over.
Oh, here we go. Open up more about your dominion of the lower classmen.
Let's bring it out. How much do you rule? Let's say, if you give yourself a scale from 0 to 10, how much
power you got?
Yeah, how much power do you got?
How much power?
10 being absolute power over the school. Where do you feel
over
like
the school?
Yeah. At least the student body, over the student body. Where do you feel like you land now? As a junior.
7 to 8.
You got a 7. Oh, that's not bad. You got influence. Yeah. You got pull. Yes. Okay.
That's very cool. Well, welcome, Catherine. We're so happy that you're here. And then we also have someone that owns Amazon, I believe.
Hey.
Someone that is a key component to Amazon. We have Alexa Gangoso. Alexa, say hi.
Hello.
Alexa, say hi. Wait, what? What did he say?
Let's be honest. How tired of you? Oh, how tired are you of that joke?
I'm used to it by now, but I've been sick of it for over 4 years. So, yeah.
Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being you wish it would never happen ever again, and 0 being I don't mind it.
Oh, 9.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, let's do this. Let's promise that we'll never have that joke ever again. How about that?
I highly doubt that.
Okay,
well, I'm sorry.
At least at the table, we won't make that joke.
At the table, we already exercised that joke.
Now, I'll say this. I won't make that joke, but I can't say too much about this delinquent next to me.
Not me, bro. I got jokes in every sock that I wear. Let me put out some jokes right now. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. Alexa, where are you from, and what school do you go to?
I was born in Hinsdale, actually, but I now live in Bolingbrook, and I go to Plainfield East High School.
Plainfield East High School. And then what grade are you? What level are you?
I'm also a junior.
You are also a junior.
Junior.
Now, are you? I know it's it's COVID season. Are you guys in person at all?
No, we're online.
You're online. How is that?
Well, me personally, at first it was good because everything was pretty easy, but ever since it's gotten more to the point where they have to learn to do tests online and all that, it's gotten so much harder. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been stressing quite a bit, but we find our time. You get a lot more, freedom, I guess, in a way, because you're at home. So it's okay, but it's definitely has their ups and downs.
I'm sure. Sure.
I know, man. Oh, dude, I can't imagine. If I was in that age doing Zoom high school, bro, the delinquent in me would come out, and I would be that dude that takes a snapshot of myself and then leaves.
I bet you were that guy in high school that wore his backpack on one shoulder.
It was, and I had that little metal chain. Yeah, watch out for me. I did. I'm sorry, guys. Early 2000s people. What can you expect?
I was a double shoulder backpack kind of guy because I understood the impact it has on your
shoulder.
Yeah.
That's right, bro.
Yeah.
That's right. My right shoulder can beat up my left shoulder.
And I'm kind of worried now that I'm standing next to Felipe.
It's okay, bro.
All right. So welcome, Nook. We're so happy that you're here. We want to make sure that we talk about our giveaways. Felipe, can you tell us about it?
For sure. Throughout this whole entire weekend, we've been giving away lots of prizes to some very, very blessed people. Some people have been winning some gift cards for Apple. They've been winning gift cards so they can already put those gift cards to work for their upcoming iPhone 12.
Yeah.
No shame, all right? Even friends that have Androids are jumping on the Apple train right now because of that gift card.
I feel like I was about to. Because
you were tempted.
I was tempted, but man, I'm so devoted to Android.
Really?
I really am.
You just committed.
I was the guy that had the Samsung phone when it was a flip phone.
Oh wow!
So I'm pretty brand loyal.
Dude, you are committed.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm committed to Apple, and whoever won that, I hope that they are, because then they'll invest in a brand new phone.
Yeah.
We gave away Starbucks gift cards already. Somebody won it yesterday, so they're gonna get that frap game up. That whatever that. The croissant game is going to be on point this week for them.
There. Yeah, they have a veggie patty there now.
They do, right? It's Beyond
sandwich.
Yeah, Impossible sandwich, so they can use it towards that. But tonight's giveaway is the top giveaway, my friend. There's no giveaway like this giveaway.
That costs a lot of money too. Before, we used to give iPod shuffles back in even 2015. I think
we've upgraded, my friend. This is the table. Yeah, we got to go hard. So look here, friends. Look at this camera. See what I got in front of me. What you see here is the Google Nest Mini. That is right. It's like having your own personal assistant at home, Dave.
I hear you can actually sleep in it because it's a Nest. Is that true?
Well, if you're small enough, it's a mini. It's a mini Nest.
Yeah, maybe if you're like.
You might have to like. You can't wear socks.
I hear you
right. Can't wear socks in a mini.
Nest.
It's not gonna fit in the Nest. But it's great. I have one at home actually. It's actually pretty cool. It talks to you like you can ask it like, yo, how the weather is, like, yo, how's traffic. You can ask it to like give you information on stuff, like random stuff. It's like having your assistant at home.
That's nice. So how do you win that tonight?
Dude, it's going to be pretty simple. Let me tell everybody that's watching right now. So pay attention. If you want to win the grand prize of a Google Nest Mini, this is what you got to do. You got to go on the chat, whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, you got to go on the chat. You got to write your name. All right. We've been asking people to write their name in the chat. We're going to put their name on a reel. But because this is the grand prize, Dave, we got to ask them for a little bit more.
Maybe a little more.
A little bit more, right? So because our guest speaker tonight is a chai connoisseur.
He's the chai king of TikTok, baby.
The chai king of TikTok. Listen, it's probably like one of the most influential chai dudes on TikTok.
I actually don't know any other person that does chai because he overshadows almost all of them.
He is that powerful, huh?
Yeah.
He's got that pull on TikTok. All right. So our guest today, Pastor Kevin Wilson, the Chai King. He loves chai, obviously. He knows all the recipes. And to sort of like, honor that, we wanted to ask everybody that wants to win this awesome prize to put a chai recipe on the chat next to their name.
Yeah.
Does that sound too crazy?
No, not at all. And like, honestly, if you don't know a good chai recipe and it's just, hey, I just use a chai tea bag and I just put that in a cup of water and just let it sit for a little bit. Mm-hmm. I know I'm considering to take that as an entry.
You'll take it?
I'll take that.
You'll take it? Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah. So if you go and you just say, I just put the tea bag of the chai in the tea, hey, we'll accept it. We don't know if Kevin himself will feel good about that.
Let's do this. If you have an actual recipe, we'll give you an extra entry. Can we do that, Stacey? Can we give them an extra entry if they post an actual chai recipe for us to? She says yes, so that's what we're going to do.
She's in a good mood. She said yes.
So put your name in the chat, and for an extra entry into the wheel, give us a legitimate chai recipe that we could all use.
Get creative. Don't be afraid.
Step our tea game up.
Exactly. Like we drank like hot chocolate with like Lucky Charms marshmallows yesterday. That was creative.
I do feel like I have diabetes now.
Dude, watch out, bro. I couldn't drink the whole thing. That thing was crazy. But hey, if you want to get creative with your chai, put your creative recipe on the chat, and you might win this grand prize of the Google Nest Mini tonight at the end of our program.
Well, let's keep going, man. Let's keep this show going. We have a segment here that we do. We've been doing the last three nights, and it's been fun. It's been a good time. I do this at my church. It's called Crown It or Frown It, and it's in a replacement. Nook, if you haven't seen this, it's a replacement for Love It or Hate It. But personally, what's my problem with Love It or Hate It, Felipe?
You just don't like the words.
It's just too strong of words.
It's all about semantics.
It really is, and like love is very biblical to me, right? And when it comes to things like chai or Taco Bell,
very biblical.
I can't find that biblical, so I can't use a biblical word for it. And like hate, it takes a lot for me to hate. Nook, do you agree that those are strong words, love and hate?
Oh, for sure.
Right, but we use it almost flippantly with like things like Burger King, and
I don't hate Burger King.
I don't hate Burger King
I just
either.
want to say
I will crown Burger King because it already has that king status. You know what I'm saying?
Have it
Come
your
on,
way, my friend.
Somebody. So we're gonna people in the chat go ahead and look for your crown emojis or your frown emojis, or you can just type that word in if your phone is.
Yeah, if you don't have it,
your phone is one of those places. So chat, go ahead and put that in there because it'll be super helpful for us. And then Nook, we're gonna go to you guys as well. So today, in the past we've had weird animals, weird food combinations, but today we're gonna be having quarantine style, pandemic fashion.
Ooh.
Today we're gonna see if we like some of this quarantine.
Are we
fashion.
ready for this, dude? A year ago, we never thought that this would become fashion.
I know, right? But I like my mask. I know
it's got drip, bro. I like the logo. It says "I love you" next to it. It's great. Very loving. Just kidding. It means Illinois youth, guys. It does not mean I love you. Although he's a kind guy.
I love Illinois youth.
I love Illinois youth. That's right.
That's
There you go. That's what it says.
Stacy, let's take a look at our first one for pandemic fashion. Let's see it. What do we got going on here?
What's going on?
It's like a disco.
Whoa. Okay. What is going down here?
Well, one, this guy has way too much chest hair than needs to be on camera.
Yeah, this dude looks like Elton John. No lie.
Yeah.
I think this is Elton John's cousin.
This is Elton John's cousin, like Bob Jones.
This has two, but yeah, one I would one button up that I'd button up that shirt just a bit.
Hey, that's what you do in pandemics, bro. You just unbutton the top. That's
true. Maybe the hair is meant to catch the coronavirus, so it doesn't go to his.
It just keeps it from going up. You know, I see it. I see.
Well,
it.
Look. Let me ask you guys. What do you guys think? Would you guys crown this or frown this? Can we see that picture again so they know for sure? Would you
take a look at that?
Or frown it?
I say frown it.
You say frown. Catherine says frown. Why, Catherine?
Frown it? Why? Why would you frown on that?
Just not a fan.
Just not a fan. It's okay.
It's not. I'm not a fan.
Would you crown this or frown this?
I'd also frown it.
Really? Same reason?
Yeah, it's just not necessary.
Not necessary. But look, it looks like you can be like the life of the party everywhere you go. Like everywhere you enter, everybody be like, "Hey, what's up, John? Woo!" Like, you know, because
right?
you got the disco ball thing going on in your mask.
Yeah, you might actually cause a party everywhere you go.
I know.
Inadvertently, actually.
Like, do not visit any place like a meeting or like.
Well, that being said, then I would probably have to frown that, because if you cause too much of a party, they might be breaking social distancing rules. Like,
that is true. That is true.
So you might be a stumbling block with that. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna frown. I'm gonna turn my light off for that one. I'm gonna frown that one.
You're gonna frown that one? Really? I'm looking in the chat. Some people are saying Michelle is saying, why not? She's gonna crown that.
Michelle says Michelle Prodons. That's one of our very own over here. John Ojuan crowns it. John, you're a smart man.
You change your mind, DQ. No, look at all these churchgoers saying they'll crown it.
Right, but I feel like I need to be an example.
Got you. Listen,
well,
I crown it.
Okay,
I'll crown it. I'll keep my light on.
I think we'll agree to disagree.
It's okay
for this one. From what we learned last week, yesterday I'm gonna walk away.
You're gonna leap?
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna walk away. So let's see the next one. Let's see this next fashion statement.
What's going down?
Is she a beekeeper? Is she?
Oh man, she's a Star Wars character on vacation.
I feel like the force is strong.
The force is strong with her, bro.
This one. She's got some buckles on that, so that means it must be heavy duty.
It must be. Yeah, it looks like it's got a tight seal there.
And it looks like she's in somewhere deserty. In Arizona. So it might solve a dual purpose.
Could it? But then again, like the tan that she'll have from that, like it's gotta be insane.
Also, she's showing a little too much shoulder for adventism, I feel.
Oh, you think so? Not Ellen White approved?
I don't think her dress. I think she needs to cover it up. Maybe. I think a lot of churches would be like, hey, maybe.
You're saying for her to just go full on hazmat suit at this point?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, gotcha.
But I think the design is actually really nice. Nook, what do you girls think? Can we see that picture one more time, Stace? What girls? What do you guys think about this picture?
It's got a fashionable look to it. Go ahead, girls.
See, I actually like it, but I wouldn't wear it just by itself like that. Of course, I'd wear like a jacket over or something, but I like how heavy duty it is, and it covers your whole head.
It's kind of edgy, actually.
It is a little edgy, almost like your video game or something.
That's right. It's like,
What video game does that look like?
Among Us. Do you know it?
Among Us.
Do you know it?
I see it.
Yo, people in the chat, if you guys play Among Us, go ahead and say I play it. I play it. So would you girls crown it or frown it?
I'd crown it, honestly.
Crown it.
All the way.
Crown it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Some people in the chat are frowning it though. Evie was frowning that big time.
Oh.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna crown that. I'm gonna turn my line on for that one. I'm gonna crown it. Just because I think it does provide a good amount of protection over the your headgear.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever feel like you need to rob a bank, you could probably use that.
You can, yeah, or
Not that I
like
condone robbing banks. I'm just saying.
It's a little
I
hard.
hope not. I mean, the delinquent over here is me,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Obviously,
Felipe.
obviously, it's me. Don't steal my job, man.
You might use it. All right. Well, Stacey, let's see our next one. Oh.
What's going on? What is this?
I'm not exactly sure what's actually happening here.
Is that like a mixture of like the mask with like tying her
I think
hair?
there's too much going on. Girls, what do you think? What are your initial reactions to this?
I'm just confused what its purpose is.
I think it's just
Yeah.
for like it's like peacocking. It's like just make myself look as colorful and vibrant as possible to the public eye.
Can we see that again?
Let's see it one more time.
Look at that.
Yeah.
She had at least 3 periods
Yo,
of art class
is
in
this
high
the
school.
Chocolate Factory? Is this Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory? I feel like that's something in that movie.
Oh,
Catherine, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know. Like that, there wouldn't be much to pair it with.
Oh.
Oh, so you're talking about like
It's-
what else
Yeah,
she's wearing is not
it's
really
very
matching
flashy.
with it. Yeah.
So I feel
Okay.
like it's a frown for you then, yeah?
Yeah. You know
Yeah,
what? I'll
probably.
frown it as well, man.
I'm gonna frown that
I'm not
too.
with it. I'm
That's
not
a little
with
too
it
boisterous. I'm gonna turn my
at
light off
all.
for that one.
Not all.
Alexa, would you agree that that's a frown, or would you crown that?
I think it's actually pretty cool. Although I want to know what its purpose is, but from the side of it, I'll crown it.
Oh, she's crowning it.
I'll crown
Let's
it.
see what the chat says. Chat, what are you guys saying?
Ooh,
We got a lot of crowns for that one. It
a
looks
lot of
like.
frowns as well.
Michelle Perron says frown.
John coming back with a crown.
Crown. Evie, it looks like that emoji wasn't even showing, really.
It was a frown.
It was a frown?
Frown.
Oh, man. I mean, I think we're split here, and I think it's all right.
Yeah.
I think it's all right.
Yeah.
Stacey, let's see I think we're on our 4th one now. Or 5th one.
Oh.
Have mercy.
Okay.
Yo!
Listen, this is
Nah, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna crown that right away because that's an Adventist health message.
that is an Adventist. I was gonna say that was gonna be an
What?
Adventist one
If
right
you
from
are
the
an
get-go.
Adventist, that is exactly what you want to do to become the president of the conference.
Every vegetarian approving this right now.
And Felipe, you just became a vegetarian.
I just
correct?
became a vegetarian. Yeah, at the
So
beginning of this year.
You actually better crown this to wear an actual. Now I want to know: is that an actual lettuce on your head?
It looks like it.
Let's say that it is. Let's assume that it is.
It looks authentic.
So now
I mean,
you're becoming a.
I
lettuce
hope that
fan.
you don't eat your mask though. Like that's the only.
Here's the
fear.
cool thing: so pandemic's hitting.
Yeah.
People are stockpiling, are unloading all the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's out of food. Guess who still has food?
Mm.
You, right there.
That's
you
right.
got a lettuce on your face.
Oh.
You got a
Oh.
lettuce on your face,
Ooh.
right? If you ever get lonely, lettuce on your face.
Boom.
If you ever get tired, lettuce on your face.
Wow.
If you ever get hungry, lettuce on
Yeah.
your face.
Go on, preacher.
Come on,
There you go.
somebody. I think they even have the grocery store rubber band that's holding it together.
It's right at the top, right? That holds the. Don't waste anything. That's the Adventist spirit. I love it.
They're using everything there.
I feel like it doubles down as a Halloween costume as well.
As what though?
The
I don't
lettuce
know.
man.
The
Or-
mask.
What?
The mask. I don't know.
Man.
Yeah, we got big crowns over here. Girls, what do you girls think? Would you crown this or frown this?
Frown.
Yeah,
Frown?
I
What are you
to
talking about?
hear. Now, Catherine is looking at me, and I feel like there's a big frown behind that mask. What do you think?
Nah,
You're not about it?
no.
You're not about the lettuce on your face?
Not about romaine, maybe.
I think it's the rubber band.
No.
I feel like it's a little constricting.
That's true. Actually, it's true.
It says let it. Oh, Michelle says
Lettuce.
let it
Oh,
come
come on!
together.
Let us come together.
Oh
In the name
no.
of Jesus.
Ramen.
Michelle, I feel like I want to give you double entries for that mask because that was amazing. I love that. Is that our last one, Stacey? Was that our last one, or we got one more?
We got one more.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, here we go.
Oh, dang! Whoa!
Whoa.
That's definitely from Among Us. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
That is, bro. We're basically just like moving into the game in real life at this point.
I feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
I feel like she would be the traitor in the group.
I feel like you would
Black is
probably
so stuck.
one. That interior looks reflective of sorts.
Really?
So like I feel like in the hot summer sun,
Ooh.
you'd probably die. You'd probably die in there.
But like it will cook your head, basically.
Cook your
Mhm.
head.
More
And I'm
food.
not also looking around for bees to harvest either. So I'm not sure if that's something that I would go for. I'm gonna turn my light off for that one. That's a frown.
I feel like you can swim and like breathe in there pretty well for like
it's some sort of self-contained underwater breathing apparatus
for like a few minutes.
That's what SCUBA stands for, by the way. Did you know that?
Ooh.
SCUBA is an acronym that says self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Do you guys know that?
No,
I did not.
Do you guys know that?
Where can I?
Joel is saying, where can I buy that? I need one ASAP.
Joe Carrasco.
Well, Joel, if we find it and, if the tithe numbers are up, we'll probably send you one, to be honest, really.
As a gift?
You'd probably have to give tithe for that one.
That's right. Come on.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Nook, what do you girls think? What do you girls think about that teardrop, beehive keeper looking thing?
Among Us looking thing.
I say frown it, because if I had it, I feel like it would take up half of my body.
Oh, for sure.
Like.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, no.
Oh, for sure. You'd be all up in there.
Little cost.
You'd be all up in there.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alexa?
Personally, I would frown it too, but I feel like some people would actually enjoy that. Not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it adds too much headroom for me, right? Because I already have a big my head takes up a lot of surface area, period, and so I feel like adding to that already. Like I already sometimes scrape some door frames because my head is long. So I feel like that would add to my injury.
What?
Felipe, would you turn the light off for this one?
Bro, I'll keep it on. Halloween just happened, so you want to be an Among Us character?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
I'll keep it on.
You're gonna crown this one.
I'm gonna crown this one for sure.
Let's see what the chat's saying. There seems like to be a long thing. Nope, that's not one. I feel like someone was really analyzing that.
I know. Nobody crowning on the chat? No. Okay.
People are being silent for this one.
Yeah.
We have some frowns all around. Hey, you know what? Well, I think we need to up our fashion in 2020, right? I think we need to embrace the fact that we're helping everyone stay safe.
Exactly.
As safe as possible. So I think pandemic fashion is acceptable.
It's important. It's
under
acceptable.
Certain circumstances.
Yeah. And in 2021, we'll get the rest of the suit.
Yeah, maybe that becomes available for everyone. Well, we got one more game, and I feel like as Adventists, we love singing. We like song, we like singing. Girls, I know Filipinos per capita probably have the most singing people around. Catherine, do you sing?
I do.
Do you? Oh, look at that!
So does she.
Found that.
No, but this one, no.
Found that.
And we love singing, and we do I feel like Filipinos love R&B.
That's right, bro. Bro, I've never heard anybody do R&B like Filipinos, man.
Yeah, no,
Filipinos go hard.
So we have a game. It's called Through the Decades, and we're gonna try to finish our line. Finish this line of a certain musical lyric, right? From one song from the 80s. One song from the 90s, one song from the 2000s, and then one song from 2010 and up, right?
Really?
So these can be hit songs from each decade, starting from the 80s, and we're going to see if we can finish that line. So let's take a look at our first one, if we got that first one. Let's see that. Because I do like singing every now and then, but I want to see if I can test myself.
In the shower, for sure.
In the shower, it's good acoustics.
Great acoustics.
Let's see that.
Let's go.
Finish that lyric. Let's see if we can finish it. Get that first one. That first.
From the 80s.
Yeah, the first one from the 80s. All right. I wasn't born in the 80s.
Me neither.
I know Pastor Mike was born in the 70s, probably.
60s, I think. I think late 60s.
All right. It's the
Eye of the Tiger.
It's the Eye of the Tiger.
It's the
in the night.
Thrill of the night.
I don't know, girls. What do you got?
The thrill of the fight, the prey in the night, or the challenge of your rival.
Girls, what do you girls think?
It's either A or B for sure. I'm pretty sure.
What do you think? What do you think, Catherine?
I think it's A.
Yeah.
It's the thrill of the night.
I'm gonna go ahead and say B because
the thrill of the night.
Rocky, want to think about this?
Really, it is, man. Rocky soundtrack, original Rocky. That's right.
Yeah.
Whoops.
That's right.
Well, we weren't born there. So.
Is that your?
Is that
Oh,
it?
Come on, baby, let's go!
Come on, Rocky was a boxing movie. The
That
thrill of the
That
fight.
makes
It's not a
sense.
dance movie.
Let's be honest though. Thrill of the night.
The thrill of the night. Like they were dancing, you know, the thrill.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely not Rocky, guys.
Let's see our next one, Mike. Let's see that. Let's see that next one. So the
From
90s.
No, that's my decade, bro. That's my decade. It's not gonna be NSYNC, is it?
Oh.
Near, far,
far,
wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on once more. You. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Chat, talk to us. What do you think the lyric is? Nook.
D for sure. It has to be.
Open the door. You open the door.
It's not. You don't slide. You don't.
You open the door.
It can't be slide.
Yeah.
Not
You can
knock.
slide through the
That
door.
This song was in Titanic. You think they're gonna slide through the door in Titanic? No.
Listen, I'll tell you the truth. There was
Open the door.
more space on that door for Jack.
Mm.
Okay,
There
they'll never
Indeed.
tell you that.
One,
Kids,
you delinquent. It was a painting.
it was a painting. It was not a door. I thought it was a door. I'm sorry.
It is open the door. Alexa was spot on. She knew it. She's like,
Really?
I knew Titanic. I know
Yeah.
Titanic, and I will always know Titanic. And it's
Wow.
open the door.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion. Her. That's what she sounds like.
2000s. Oh man. Here
All
we go.
right.
Since you've been gone, I can, for the first time, think, speak, breathe, or dream.
I don't know.
Ooh man, this is a tough
Really?
C.
one.
C.
Nook.
C.
See.
You can
Breathe.
breathe. I think it's think, honestly, because it's probably like a song about a girl in a classroom who's trying to do a test. But then her best friend that she cheats from left. So she can't cheat on the test anymore.
You have to sing it to me. See which
You know?
one sounds right.
It's not.
breathe.
It's breathe.
Yo, shout out to Kelly Clarkson though for being the only really famous
American Idol. Yeah,
Mhm.
man, I remember that show.
It's either that or Ruben Studdard, but he didn't even win. To be honest.
Dude,
All right, 2010s. Let's see the 2010s. That's closer to where we are.
it's Drake. Nope.
Oh.
Never mind. I'll find someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you too. Don't forget me, I beg. I remember you said.
Oh no.
Sing it like that.
Sometimes it lasts, my love, but sometimes it hurts instead. Sometimes it lasts, my love, but sometimes it what? I think they're the same.
In love, my love, with love, but love.
Oh, here we go.
Sometimes it lasts, but love. Sometimes it hurts instead.
Sometimes it well, I don't know
I
about
actually
this
don't
one.
know. Catherine,
yeah.
Alexa, what do you girls think?
This is tough, man.
B.
You got to be a real Adele fan for this.
B.
It's B?
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Is it B? What? Oh man, let's
Yeah.
see.
Pretty sure.
That's it.
Ooh,
Yo.
Right.
good
Yo, shout out to
job.
Adele for getting super healthy.
Adele,
Oh,
Adele.
bro, she looks.
She,
That's right.
yeah, she
Adele looks great.
like some sort of fitness model now.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Very
Is this
different.
our last one? All right, for sure. All right, cool. Well, thanks for playing, Nook.
Yeah, what's
Thanks for
up,
playing,
Nook?
chat. You guys did great, I feel.
Yeah.
Except for that 80s one. That 80s one really tripped us up
That
a
was
little bit.
tough.
Wow.
Great.
But you guys got close. You guys got close.
We were close.
Mhm,
Those are close.
mhm.
So let's keep going because I think the best part is still yet to come for the show tonight.
Absolutely.
We've been traveling through. Felipe, show them your shirt really quick.
It's not complicated.
His idea of it's not complicated, and the thing that we were saying that it's not complicated is all about relationships,
Mhm.
and relationships can be really complicated.
Oftentimes.
I think we make them really complicated, particularly our relationship with God.
Mm.
And the first two nights, Thursday and Friday, we talked about how God sees us. And man, those were powerful words, man.
They were, man.
That's actually the foundation of which we are able to actually have a relationship with other people.
Mhm.
And yesterday we started talking about what it looks like to have a relationship with someone that doesn't agree with you or you
Ooh,
don't agree
that's
with.
tough, bro.
And we learned an acronym, and the acronym was LEAP.
Leap.
And I have the notes here. LEAP stands for listen, empathize, agree with something, and also partner. And we saw that with people like John the Baptist. We see that
That's
with
right.
a lot of people.
That's right. I feel like that's great for anybody that's struggling with particular people that just are not getting along with them, or they're not
Yeah.
getting along with them, like family members sometimes. Thanksgiving is coming up, you know.
And it can get hot.
It can get hot at that dinner table.
You might have that one guy who's an undercover voter for the other side, and you just never knew it.
Ouch!
Right, and it
can get heated.
And then you want to throw a turkey at them, and it's never nice. And I think that's important. But today we're kind of trying to wrap all of it up. How do we really start to relate to people, and what's the purpose behind it? What was God's purpose behind having us be in relationships?
So you're telling me that there's a godly given purpose behind our relationships?
I think that's where we're heading, and I'm hoping our guy tonight, our speaker tonight, is able to break that down. We have none other but the king of chai. The king of chai. He is the most famous chai brewer, connoisseur,
critic,
chai critic, chai king. What else we got? Chai emperor.
Overlord. I don't know.
Overlord. Chai overlord of the very lucrative app TikTok.
Very lucrative, yeah.
He's a TikToker, a chai maker, move maker. He is a shaker.
A baker?
He's a baker. And he does. I used to live with him, actually.
What? Really?
He was my roommate in college. Let's introduce to the table Mr. Pastor Kevin Wilson. Let's introduce him to the table really quick. Kevin Wilson, how are you doing? Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I think they got a video of him too.
Are we okay? Are we live? Are we good?
We are. We're good. We can hear you loud and clear. Kevin, how are you?
Bro, good to see you. I am doing well.
But I'm excited. By his accent. He's not from here. Kevin, tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from originally.
Yes, I grew up in Sri Lanka, beautiful island of the southeast corner of India. Not connected to India; it's a different country. I have to make that clear. I don't know why, but I have to. And so I grew up there, lived there till I was 12 years old, and then I moved to the Middle East, and I lived in Oman for a little bit. Did my high school there, and then I came to Andrews as a freshman, and so that's where we met, David and I.
Crazy. Wow. Listen, we were having a debate how to pronounce the country of your origin. How do you pronounce that?
It's Sri Lanka, so it's like an SH sound. So it's Sri Lanka. Mm-hmm.
And then your favorite hot sauce with the rooster on it. How do you say that? Because we had a debate about that too.
Ooh, that's a very contentious thing, because I used to say Sriracha, SARI, but apparently it's just Sriracha. I think so. I think if I'm not mistaken, but I think that's how you actually say it from that pronunciation. But I don't know.
I was adding an SH. I was adding an SH to that.
Okay.
It looks the same as Sri Lanka. But,
it does, man. It does. Oh, it's so good to hear from you, David, and everybody else for sure.
Kevin, listen, we wanted to show people a taste of what you do, and we actually dug up. We did a deep dive on your TikTok about the video that made it happen for you, and we want to take a look. We want to see if we can take a look at that video really quick. Stacy, if you can pull that up. We're going to take a look at that really quick.
Are you bored at home? Forget that chai tea latte from Starbucks. Here's how you make the real thing. Get ginger, pulverize, add cinnamon, cardamom, peppercorns, and nutmeg. Crush. Heat up half a cup of water and half a cup of half and half, or just oat milk if you're vegan or bougie. When the milk starts to dance, get it off the fire. Add ginger, add spices, stir. Add pure loose leaf black tea, add sucrose. Stir till you see the color of a happy brown boy. Filter, then aerate that liquid with the goodness and joy, and drink. Ooh! Take care and God
bless. Yes! That's the one. That was the one.
That got like 250,000 plays.
Really?
On the TikTok.
Dude, that's amazing.
I honestly think it's the way you poured the chai. It was that elongated.
He didn't spill.
No, Kevin. How is it? What is it like making chai on TikTok?
Bro, it's been a crazy journey, man. Like I started just messing around with the app like starting in January, but like I started when I started it was about I had about 20 followers or something like that. Now I'm at like 141K. It's been a journey, man. It's a whole different world out there, but it's also been really fun.
Well, here's a question for you, real quick. The more followers you get, does your hair get longer?
There seems to be a direct correlation between my follower count and my follicles on top of my head, for sure. And the more nicer
you speaking for us, man, and we just want to give you the floor now to break down this word that you have for us. So the table is yours, starting in 3, 2, 1, go.
Sweet. All right. So, good evening, everybody in the Illinois Conference. Yeah, my name is Kevin, and yeah, so David just shared a little bit about his experience with me. I went to Andrews, and David and I, we were roommates together, and that was quite an experience. I mean, like I can think of so many stories, and I can think of this fights. The stuff that we went through, but I think but it's just fun memories all along throughout the experience. So I'm just grateful that we get to do these things for you and for one another. So it's really cool to do that. So just like again a quick introduction. Grew up in Sri Lanka, lived in the Middle East, came to Andrews, and now I'm in San Diego, California. I'm a pastor, youth and young adult pastor here, and yeah, so I wanted to kind of share just very few things about my experience through TikTok, but more particularly about what my journey in TikTok has kind of taught me about how we can relate to the other. Okay, because the thing is, everybody has an other, like every single person, regardless of who you are and what you believe and where you find yourself in the political spectrum or the theological spectrum, you always have an other, right? And so the reason why I want to talk about that is because I recently realized that most of my followers, about 140 of them right now, 40,000 of them, most of them are actually non-Christians. They are either atheists or agnostics, and there are people who don't believe like I do, and yet they still keep coming up and showing up to our community. And it's interesting because I've never changed my bio on TikTok. I've always said student, pastor, disciple, husband, and then like my age or whatever. So like everybody knows like I'm a pastor, and yet like there are people who are either sick and tired of institutionalized religion, who are in the margins of society, who still show up to my channel. And I've been kind of thinking about like what's going on. And I want to share with you just 3 principles that has helped me to do this. It's funny, a couple of days ago, I got a DM on my Instagram, and this person said, "Are you an Adventist?" ? And I said, "Yeah." And then she was like, "So you wouldn't believe this, but I heard your name on a podcast on witchcraft." So I was just like, "Wait, okay. I thought you said witchcraft." And it's like, "Yeah, witchcraft." Well, it turns out there was a podcast on witchcraft by these 2 witches who have like every episode they're talking about different things that goes into it. But in this particular episode, towards the end of the episode, they have a little snippet where one of them talks about this person that she met on TikTok, that his name was Kevin Wilson. And for the next like few minutes, she was just talking about how amazing the content was. And here I am thinking, if you would have told me that 2 years from now, when I was in seminary, that 2 years or 3 years from then, that I would be featured in a podcast on witchcraft, I would have absolutely just laughed at you, right? But here we are. And so it's just crazy the amount of people that I get to talk to and the different types of people who I interact with on an almost daily basis. So 3 principles. I just want to leave you with you 3 things and 3 principles that can help you relate to the others. And it's helped me, and I hope it helps you. Okay, so principle number 1 is this: everyone has a story. Okay, everybody has a story. And when you see people as stories with limbs, meaning stories with arms and legs, you cannot help but approach each and every person, regardless of their race and gender, religion, ethnicity, with curiosity and wonder. This whole thing about created in the image of God implies that every single human being is designed with a capacity to love and also a capacity for love, to receive love, which should cause especially Adventists out of all people to have an empathetic posture towards people. We're going to talk about that in the second point. Right now, there's just a ton of hostility between people. Yesterday I was listening to the Table podcast episode with Marquise, which is amazing. And in many ways, I think there's going to be some overlap between what he talked about and what I'm going to share with you today. But, David asked the question, there's so much polarization going on. And what do we do? And yeah, there's just a ton of polarization. And I used to think that it was difference. That difference was the thing that polarized different people, whether there was different perspectives, different beliefs, different ideologies, different whatever, difference that causes rifts between different people groups. But I wonder if it is not difference, but actually distance that breeds tribalism and hostility between people groups. In other words, I wonder if what's truly keeping people apart is not different opinions as much as distanced postures, where we are just we are purposely and intentionally kind of distancing ourselves from the people that God is actually calling us to minister to. Because you see, as proximity increases, okay, meaning as people get closer to each other, so does understanding. And when you get to know people's stories, when you get to see them as stories, they're no longer a Democrat or a Republican or an Adventist or a non-Adventist or a Pentecostal, whatever it is. They become David, Felipe, Catherine, Alexa, Stacy. They become names. They become stories. And I'm reminded of Abraham Lincoln's quote on this point. He was a leader during a very tumultuous, polarized time in American history, and so he said this one time. He said, "I don't like that man," talking about a certain person that he doesn't like. "I don't like that man. Therefore, I must get to know him better." I mean, think about that, just perspective shift, right? He said, "I don't like that man. Therefore, because of that, I must get to know him better." So, first point, everybody has a story. And that's one of the things that I keep reminding myself every time I interact with people, the other, on TikTok or just as a pastor. And this leads to the second point. Empathy does not mean endorsement. Okay? Empathy does not mean endorsement. And we talked about empathy yesterday. Marquise talks about this. And empathy, for me, is this willingness to step into someone else's story, to step into someone else's life, to understand what they are going through, and to have a posture of, okay, I'm going to come into this experience as if I know nothing about you, as if I'm not without any judgment. I'm going to table all of that stuff, and I'm going to hear what you have to say. Empathy. You're willing to step into somebody else's shoes, and there is this kind of understanding or misconception, I would say, that somehow when you empathize with people, especially if they're different than you, that somehow you're compromising your Adventism or you're compromising your faith. Compassion, my friends, does not imply compromise. In other words, when you're open and willing to step into somebody else's shoes in order to understand them, you're not somehow diluting your Adventism. On the contrary, you're actually doing what God himself did. And we're now coming into theology here. God, what he did, he stepped into our story, yes, to save us, but it also in order to understand us. See, God could have done this whole salvation thing from afar. He could have created a plan, he could have created a strategy, whatnot, and he could have entrusted the angels to do the thing. But somehow, Jesus volunteered himself to literally become one of us. I mean, he went through the whole human development thing so that he can understand what we are and who we are. Now, let me say this, and I want someone to catch this. If you are threatened that you are somehow compromising your faith or compromising your Adventism or compromising your beliefs just because you are hanging out with people or even listening to people who believe and love differently than you, you might be at risk of making an idol out of your theology. Let me say that again. You might be at risk of making an idol out of your theology. Instead of seeing your understanding of God as a way to access God, you will eventually, if you're not careful, start to worship your faith and worship your theology as God. And that's exactly what Jesus condemned when he talked to the Pharisees of his time. Because what started off as a system of rules, what started off as a theological system, a doctrinal system that would allow the Jews to actually access God, eventually became this thing, this structure that just kind of made these categories that created us versus them categories. We're going to talk about this in a few minutes. And so what actually happened? They made an idol out of their theology, keeping the rules and making sure that the system stays intact became the highest priority. So that's what might happen if you're threatened that somehow you talking to somebody else is going to threaten your faith. Or B, you might have misunderstood the purpose of why Jesus showed up in the first place. The incarnation of Jesus. Jesus literally showed up because he wanted to understand. It's the fact that we have a Jesus Christ of Nazareth, a son of man who is a man God, is evidence enough for us, for people, for Adventists, for people of faith to have empathy embedded within their DNA of what it means to be human, what it means to be made in the image of God. So empathy does not mean endorsement. There's this quote by Ellen White, one of my favorite quotes in Ministry of Health, Ministry of Healing. It says, Christ's method alone will give true success in reaching the people. If you're born and raised in the church, you'll know this sentence. And then she goes on to say that the Savior mingled with people as one who desired their good. He showed sympathy for them, ministered to their needs, and won their confidence. Then he invited them, follow me. If you look at that statement, people were begging to listen to Jesus I would like to think at least that after they experienced his love and his care. And too often we talked about this, and when it comes to ministry, let me just be real here for you for a second. Too often we read the statement and we're like, okay, we have to do friendship evangelism, as if we are going to now be their friends, so that in order that we can now convert them to Adventism or bring them to our side. But that's not how friendship works. Unfortunately, that's how evangelism works in many places, but that's not how it's supposed to be. When we read this thing, Christ's method alone, we don't know the timeline of this whole situation. We don't know how long Jesus spent ministering to their needs. We don't know how long Jesus spent being there for them. We don't know how long he showed sympathy to them. We don't know how long he did the things that he did. And we don't know when he asked them to follow him. And we also don't know how exactly he did it, except for the few instances we find in Scripture. But somehow we have super Christians who think that let's just keep doing stuff so that they'll be like, oh wow, these guys are awesome, and so that now they're like ready to like accept the truth. Come on, man. That's not how relationships work. That's not how these things work. Empathy for the sake of empathy without any strings attached. That should be the MO, the modus operandi of ministry, especially in a culture, in a place, in an environment that is allergic to institutionalized religion, as we find here in the West increasingly. The Japanese writer Haruki Murakami, she wrote this: always remember that to argue and to win is to break down the reality of the person you're arguing against. It is painful to lose your reality, so be kind, even if you are right. I love that. Love this idea of arguing, to win and argue. as a description of breaking down someone's reality. Like you're just breaking this thing down. So if you're planning to do that, at least be kind. But that's not what we're supposed to do anyway. And the word kind, by the way, originated from the word kin, and the word kin means family. So in other words, when you are kind to someone, it means that you're actually treating them like family. And this, I think, is a good method for actually changing someone's mind. And I think right now, especially in a polarized culture, I don't think facts will change people's minds and perspectives. I think friendship does. Friendship and truth and facts embedded in a mutual relationship of love and care and empathy. I think that's the stuff that will really change people's minds in the long run. And again, Minister of Healing, she says, the strongest argument. This is one of the craziest quotes that Ellen White says. She says, the strongest argument in favor of the gospel is a loving and a lovable Christian. I love that. Period. Strongest argument is a loving and lovable Christian. Everybody has a story. Empathy does not mean endorsement. And the last point, the more you know your story, the more you can love other people in their stories. This is the last point. The more you know your story, the more you can love other people in their stories. I came to the States around 11 years ago with 2 suitcases and a backpack. October 28, 2008. I still remember that day. I came and I had no idea what to do. I had 0 family members here. And the only family members that I have even now are my in-laws. None of my family from my family are here. My parents are in the Middle East right now, in Oman, where I grew up, and my sister's in Sri Lanka. And so coming here as an 18-year-old kid was just a terrifying experience. And it was a tough time. I mentioned that David and we went to school together, but maybe he might have known this, but maybe not. But I was going through a rough period in Andrews because I was trying to figure out where I fit in as a theology student. I was not American. I didn't. I just had a green card, and I had an accent. I still do, and so I have all these different things. And I began to startly resent my story. I started to say things like, God, why do I always feel like I'm left out? Like, why do I always feel like I don't fit in? But over the past few years, my friends, God had to take me on a journey to show me, watch this, please, this is for somebody, that my story is not a liability, but an asset. My story is a superpower. Your story is a superpower with its ups and downs, highs and lows, with its trauma, with its rewards, with its triumphs. Your story is a superpower. And maybe a part of this thing that we call sanctification, of God making us into his image, maybe a part of that is to show us, to help us reframe our past by helping us see our lives and our stories through the perspective of God rather than through the perspective of other people or through the perspective of the enemy. And the more I knew who I am, including but not limited to my particular interests, my culture, my accent, ethnicity, my family, strengths, weaknesses, I realized that the more I can actually be freed to minister to other people. But here's the thing. I don't want to stop there in that point, because the second part of this point is very, very key. But the importance and the significance of my story is fully revealed when I see it within the narrative of a larger story. And now this is where we come into the gospel. The larger story for me is the story of the gospel as revealed in the scripture, with Jesus Christ as its hero. And the more I saw God in my story, the more I became confident to listen and learn from other people's stories. And the more I'm clear about this story, the God story, the more I see myself as a part of the God story, the more I can now approach other people without losing my identity, without losing who I am, because I know because now I begin to see myself through the perspective of God. And now this is where things like doing devotions, things like prayer and going to church and all these things matter, because every time you do those things, what you're doing is you are actually you're choosing to place your story
within the narrative of a larger story. It's kind of like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? So it's like you have different movies within the MCU, right? You have the Iron Man stuff, you got the Captain America stuff, you got the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. You have different stories within the MCU, but each story within the MCU finds their significance, finds their value, finds their narrative, finds their importance, finds their contribution when they are seen as a part of a larger story, the MCU. Like in the same way, my friends, in the same way when it comes to the gospel and our individual stories. And that's why it's so important to do these things: prayer, Bible study, the basics, the fundies, right? Because that's how we connect to a larger story. And so the more we connect to that larger story, we are not threatened anymore. We can now actually be free to love other people, especially people who are like witches, people who are the other, people who some of the institutions of the church have said, no, I don't think we can love them, or I don't think we can do that. No, we can, and we should. Let me end with this one. When you make chai, I must end with the chai illustration. When you make chai and you're using loose leaf black tea and you're brewing the whole thing, you have to filter out the stuff, because otherwise you'll be eating chai. You don't want to eat chai, you want to drink it, right? And there's just a whole bunch of stuff that you have to filter out, and you don't want it in the chai when you drink it. Another word for that the things that you filter out is called the remnant. You know what remnant means? It's the leftovers, the remaining things. It's the stuff that remains over when everything else is done. Remnant simply means leftovers. But too often, as Christians and Adventists, we think we are the main course. We think we are it. That somehow we have a monopoly on truth, that we have a monopoly on God, when in fact, God is bigger than our theology. God is bigger than the systems and the structures that we have. And the best, and what we have within our theology and the systems are the best attempts that we have to actually access God. And that's why I am an Adventist. And when we think that we are the main course, when we think even Christianity, let's talk about Christians. When we think that Christians are it, like this is it, we then start to create us versus them categories to box other people out and protect us in. But following the way of Jesus, listen, this is very important. Following the way of Jesus was never supposed to be an us versus them thing, but a them through us thing. You heard that? It was never supposed to be an us versus them thing, but a them through us thing. In other words, we should be concerned about us playing on God's team rather than expecting God to play on our team. And so if we keep perpetuating this idea, this thought in our mind that this is it and we are it, and if we don't believe this, we're not going to get anywhere. We don't. Because if at the Pentecost, if the gift of the Holy Spirit was to the entire world, it came down. We came down, but there was, but the Holy Spirit went to the rest of the world, and then we have the prophecy in Joel says that in the last days I'll pour out my Spirit on all people. You know what that means? That means that God is at work, especially among people that you might have said, I don't think that they're with God, either because of what they've believed, either because of their political position, or what have you. No. So, my friends, I just want to challenge you as you move forward. Right now, elections coming up. We don't know what's happening in the future, but you know what? We don't have control over the future. You and I have control over our legacy. Who do you want to become? What type of people do you want to become? You have control over that, no matter what happens in a couple of days. So God is calling you and I to come to Him, to find our story and our narrative and our significance and our purpose and our importance and our flavors in Jesus. And to the extent we do that, we can now be the aroma of Christ to other people around us. Everybody has a story. Empathy does not mean endorsement. And the more that you know your story is the extent to which you can actually minister lovingly and meaningfully to other people in their stories. Jesus, thank you so much for this time. I pray that you lead us and guide us, that you'd sensitize our hearts and our minds to the frequency of your voice. In all of this, we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Wow. Yo, thank you so much, Pastor Kevin. Yo, that was amazing, man. That was a word. That was a word right there. Yo, in the studio, you guys can't see it, but Stacy was out there like jumping, man, in the back.
She was taking laps, man.
She was taking laps. She was running. This is a small studio though, but she was running laps in the back. Praise God, yo. Thank you so much, brother, for the message. Powerful word. I love the chai illustrations, man. Like, what makes chai beautiful is the ingredients, man. The conglomerate of ingredients, bro. You can't just have one thing. You got to mix it up together.
Yeah.
So why do we keep, as Christians, sometimes just isolating ourselves from the people of God, the vast world that God has created, full of its populations and people, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Oh man, I got to talk to Kev for a second, because Kev, I don't know how your upbringing was 100%, but for me, growing up as an Adventist my whole life, man, like third generation Adventist kid. I remember being a little kid and my parents would never let me have non-SDA friends. Bro, I'm being honest with you. Like kids from the school, like they would invite me to birthday parties and stuff like that. My parents were like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? But like Dad, Johnny's like 10 though. Like what? Like what do you expect? Like, bro. So then like I grew up with this notion in the sense that like, look, we got to stay isolated. And the only time that we mingle with people out there is when we got to do evangelism. Yeah, that's when we go out there and that's when we mingle with people and stuff like that. But I think that something that Kevin just said connects perfectly with something that Marquis said the night before as well, because he used the phrase, I think it was called disinterested benevolence. You remember that phrase?
Mm-hmm.
I think he quoted Ellen White as well. Like we ought to have a disinterested benevolence as we just connect with people out there. So like, I knew that I grew up with this sense of like, yo, if you're a Christian, you connect with somebody else, it's got to be like this transaction. You got to connect with them. You got to try to attract them to church, and they got to accept coming to church, and that's all well and good. But if it's not happening, so on and so forth. So, bro, what do you think, man? This idea of disinterested benevolence, do you think that's like the future for the church in the world that we're living in?
Yeah, no, that's a new phrase for me. I haven't heard that, but I do. But can you unpack that phrase for a minute, just a little bit for me?
So basically, yesterday, Marquis was basically talking about the idea of us interacting with people, not for a particular like hidden agenda. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like, yo, I'm going to connect with this person because, I want to convert them to being a Christian.
Yeah.
I want to bring them to church. I want to get them baptized. That's the only reason as to why I'm going to do good things for this person. Like, that's like, yo, what are you trying to do? You're trying to like manipulate things behind the scene or something like that.
Yeah.
So like he used this phrase, disinterested benevolence. Like he quoted Ellen White from somewhere. And she said basically like that we as Christians ought to have a disinterested benevolence. Like we got to do good things for people.
No strings attached.
No strings attached. Exactly. Like we got to do it because, that's what Jesus would do, basically.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think,
it's kind of like that future of
exactly
what church needs to like just jump on in the times that we're living in.
No, for sure. I 100% agree with that. As a matter of fact, people can see. Sorry, my bad. I think something happened here with my laptop. Give me a quick second here. I'm gonna go back to my HD camera. Okay, are we good? Are we good?
Good.
Okay, so yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I think I really like that phrase, and I think I learned something today. I want to use that in the future. Yeah, because people can obviously see through your stuff, and right now, especially right now, there is this allergic reaction to religion and theology and to anything that's institutionalized. There's already an allergy to it. The moment you say something about God, the moment you say something about Jesus, whatnot, there's all these guards go up, right? I pastor in San Diego, and like I try to like get out of the church sometimes to work outside in the coffee shop or whatnot, and like I'm always interacting with different people, and you see the conversation shift when they find out, oh, you're a pastor, right? And so I think the frontier of ministry right now, especially Christians, if this whole theology, if this way of Jesus
is true, then the best evidence for that is your life. And you lead with your life, you lead with praxis, and you lead with empathy and not with orthodoxy. And that's how you start with building bridges with people. And when they ask and when they see that this is actually like it's tangibly changing your lives, then they are open to now asking new questions and more questions. But yeah, that's so disinterested benevolence, or any other phrases you want to call it. Yeah, I think that's the way forward, man.
I think it's really awesome. Nook, what do you guys think about all that? What are your thoughts about what Pastor Kevin was talking about today?
I'll go. Okay. Hi, Kevin. I absolutely love your message. I think it's such an important one to take in, especially with all the divide and conflict within our nation right now, especially with an election coming up. I just wanted to ask a question. It's completely opinion based, and there's no right or wrong. But what is your opinion on using like someone's religion and faith when making the decisions of government enforced laws or rules, something like that?
How much time do we have?
But
No, it's such no. First of all, that's a great question. I mean, there's so many ways you can answer that, but I think the first thing comes to my mind is how we have approached that question from the perspective of Adventism, historically speaking. And if you look back at the history of Adventism, you'll see that Adventists, at least the early pioneers, were so they would fight tooth and nail for the freedom of people to believe what they believe and for people to vote by their conscience. And so they would actually they would be one of the first few people who would say no, like everybody should have the right to do the things that they need to do, right? And so so historically Adventism has, within its DNA, we have this mandate to fight for the rights of other people. And now the flip side of that is we are also against anything, even if it's our own religion, when that's used to coerce some other people into a particular worldview or particular perspective. We were against that as well. And if you look at the book of Revelation, one of the ways we can understand the prophecies of Revelation is to understand Revelation as a theopolitical text or manifesto, basically to say that when the book of Revelation was written, the biggest problem that the early Christian church was facing was imperialistic religion, where there was this the Caesar or the emperor who was now coercing people to worship the emperor by trying to mix a religion, that's their religion, whatever, with politics. But then the whole if you pan out of the book of Revelation, you see that God has some really strong things to say about the powers there be. And every time they talk about beasts, every time we talk about all these different things, one way to understand all of that stuff is to say that God was against anything that would prevent people from using their freedom to actually worship either God or worship the enemy. So the thing is, whenever you have religion, whenever you use religion to coerce somebody into a political position or to any position, that's bordering on idolatry, that's bordering on spiritual abuse. And you got to be very, very careful with that stuff.
Man, great question. I think even when you step into that realm and just the overall message that you spoke, I think the biggest thing that I know I took from this was this idea, and this is kind of resounding, especially for even last night, that everyone has a story, that everyone has a past to them. I think I forgot. I think it was Thomas Aquinas that said that. Basically, he said that every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. And when we start to realize that people are people first, actually, one of my favorite speakers, God rest his soul, Ravi Zacharias. Kevin, I know that you and I used to listen to him a lot when we were in school together. One of the things that he would talk about, because the guy would never debate. He was an apologist, and he would never debate anyone. And someone asked him, "Hey, Ravi, why don't you debate?" And he basically said, "Why? How am I supposed to win someone's heart when I've already chewed off their ears?"
Wow.
And we do this a lot as Christians, and particularly as Adventists, when we go all kung fu apologetic, and just to make sure that we are right, that we have the truth. But I think David Asscherick said, the burden of being right is a heavy burden to bear. And always wanting to be right in a situation, like what you said, Kevin, causes an Austin and them situation, and that may be winning, but that's not making peace. Jordan Peterson, one of the guys I follow a lot of his talks, he says that the goal in an argument is not to win. The goal in a relationship is not to be a winner. It's to be peaceful, make peace. Because you could win an argument and not have peace. Yeah, you can be right. Like if I'm arguing with my wife, and I seek to be right all the time, which I have a problem with as a person, and I would argue that it's because I am. But if I always seek to be right, we'll live in a very warring relationship, and we'll start to devalue the person's story. So I think that's super important for us to realize today, that everyone has a story. And honestly, when I was early in ministry, I heard some advice from a pastor, a very seasoned pastor, and he said, if there's anything that you should invest in, it's your out of church activities, your hobbies outside of church. If you're a car guy, get involved with the car group in your neighborhood. Get involved with. I used to do mixed martial arts, and I would get involved with the mixed martial artists in my area, and we would be training for 6-7 months, and no one knew that I was a pastor. I wouldn't say it out loud, but I would make it an effort every single time I enter the gym to be a blessing to those people.
Nice.
To want to build those people up, because I think that's what our purpose is here on earth. Right? Is not to be right. Right? It's only God that calls us righteous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think our biggest goal is to reconcile. We're on this ministry of reconciliation. And I think, Kevin, you hit it right on the head. The more that we see someone's story, the more that we value and empathize with people, we reconcile those people back into a relationship with, if we are truly letting God live through us.
Good. Amen.
So I think that's super awesome, Kevin. Listen, Kevin, we want to continue on with our story, and we don't want to let you go yet, man, because we have some giveaways to do, and I'm not sure if you heard in the chat, but we have people who have extra entries based on a chai recipe that they shared, and so we want to share those with you, and we want to bring them and filter and bring a remnant, right? Filter them through the TikTok chai king, the chai fist himself of TikTok. We want to take a look at some of these ingredients and see what you think. Do you think you can help us with that, Kev?
Let's do it, man. Let's go.
Let's make it happen. Let's take a look at this one. It's from Jean Ojuang. He says, so John is from Africa, and I believe this is his dad's recipe. Let's take a look. Kevin, can you read that?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Kenyan tea, milk, and tea masala. Would you consider this a legitimate chai recipe?
Well, first of all, if you're Kenyan chai is like pretty awesome. I think these African guys, like they've mastered their own blend. So I mean, what I'm looking at, it is just the tea, the milk, and the masala. I feel like there's more to it. So I think it's a good start. This person is off to a good start. So that's how I would say. And I'm sure that there are other things to mention, but it's not mentioned in the comment. But that's a good start.
It's legitimate. It is a legitimate tea.
Yeah.
Let's see the next one. And while we're looking for that, Kevin, I think your ministry on TikTok is an example of what our purpose is when it comes to relationship, to really utilize whatever platform you're doing. I say this to people all the time. This is how Kevin was forever. Kevin's always been this kind of person, no matter what arena he's on. He wanted to minister to people, outside of faith, I think. So I applaud you for that. Let's take a look at this next one. Gabriel Torres says, milk, water, milk, black tea, ginger, assorted spices, cinnamon,
cardamom.
I'm not sure how to say that correctly, and cloves and sugar. Kevin, is this a legitimate chai recipe?
Your thoughts.
This is, I would give them an A- here. Almost good in terms of the ingredients. I want to read some comments with actual like methods, so that's kind of when you like know if they know what they're doing. But in terms of ingredients and raw ingredients, I think this is great. I think if I were to, you got cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, which is great. I would add some peppercorns and maybe some star anise to this thing to make it a little bit more, and but it's a great start. That's good. A-, almost A+.
Take a look at this next one. Well, this
is a big one.
This one's intense.
Ooh,
wow.
Luana Redev.
Yay, North Shore.
My dad's simple chai recipe: boil water for about 4 to 5 cups. Lower the heat to keep warm, and add 1.5 teacup of camel tea masala. 2 cloves. Let's just let it stay for 5 minutes on the water. Kevin, you could read this. Is this legit?
I'm reading here. Yeah, I'm seeing turn the heat a little loose. Add loosely. It's fine. Flavored. Yep. And it's like, remove the fire. Use the tea. Yeah. Okay. Great. I mean, this is probably the best one yet. I would say it's one of the best. It's the best one yet in this list for sure. Yeah, this is great. And if as long as there's some cardamom in the kamal tea masala, then this would be a 99.9% accurate recipe. That's the only question that I have, like what's actually in the tea masala of this person. But this is the best one yet.
Kevin, I feel like a lot of these ingredients are like speaking in tongues. I feel like a lot of it is angelic language.
Well, you're not wrong, David. When God gave the Spirit of the Holy Spirit, the gift of tongues, part of that was to actually help us interpret these spices so that we can actually make proper chai and ditch Starbucks chai tea lattes. So it all makes sense.
Hey, you might recognize this name. This is a close family member of mine. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Canned pumpkin pie, spice, sugar, vanilla extract, dairy-free milk. Man, there's not even any comments here. This looks like a rap. This looks like a rap lyric. Chai latte concentrate, ground nutmeg, dairy-free, whipped cream. What do you think about that, Kev?
Okay, so this is it's going to taste like fire because, depending on what type of chai concentrate you're using. See, Samantha, I'm looking at you. You're a person after my own heart. You should start using the actual stuff and start brewing your own tea instead of resorting to chai tea latte concentrates. Not good. But if you replace the chai latte concentrates with actually brewing it from black teas, then you'll have an amazing flavor. But apart from that, this is great. Yeah, I actually did a pumpkin chai latte a couple of weeks ago, and it came out very nice. So good job.
Hey, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome.
Man, bro.
Those are awesome chai recipes. Honestly, right now, Kev, we need your help because as the chai king yourself, we are going to give away this very awesome giveaway right here, which is the Google Nest Mini. We told the people to put their names in the chat. They're going to get this prize. And we actually wanted to see if you could announce the winner for today based on their recipe. We're going to put them on the wheel here, and a name is going to be randomly chosen. So are you able to see the wheel there, Kev? We're going to put it up in a second. Can you see it?
All yes, right, I can. Yes, I can.
Who's going to win this Nest Mini? Da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-dum.
No way.
Oh!
All right. So what's happening? So does that person see this right now?
Person should be able to see this right now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations, Samantha. You won the Google Mini. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Listen, Dave, you cannot take this home though.
I can't take it home.
You can't take it home.
We gotta send it to her personally.
Bro, listen, this is good. Listen, Kev, just out of appreciation, man, we got a giveaway for you as well, bro. Thanks for participating. We just wanted to send something your way. Can the camera zoom in on this, man? You know, as the Chai King, bro, we just wanted to send this to your home address, just out of love, bro. This is vanilla chai. You know, courtesy of Dave Kiloton.
It's that Bigelow, baby.
It's that Bigelow. Headed your way, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in, bro. Thank you for the word.
Hi, it's Bigelow.
Yes. We like Kevin.
Yo,
Thank
Kevin,
you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for everybody.
Before we let you go here, what in a brief summary, what would you say? What is one thing you want to leave these young people with moving forward out of this night, out of this podcast, when it comes to relationships and God and our purpose here on earth? What is that one thing?
Oof. Jesus is the blueprint. That's it.
I dig it.
We'll take that.
Dig it.
Hey, man, we really appreciate all your insight. We really appreciate your try. We appreciate your TikTok. And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your friendship. And I appreciate your hair, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. Listen, Kev, thank you so much for your ministry, man. We pray for the best for you. We appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Alexa, Catherine, Stacy, Michael, Felipe, of course, David. Appreciate all you guys and all the hard work that you guys have been doing. Good job. Thank you.
Praise God, man. Take care of yourself,
Thank you,
Kev.
brother.
We'll see you later. All right, man. What an awesome show, man. What an awesome 4 days.
It's been great, bro.
Nook, what do you guys think? What are your responses? How do you feel about today?
I loved it.
You loved it?
It was great.
It was good stuff.
Yeah, I loved it.
We got acceptance from the Nook. I think man, Felipe, what's one thing you want to leave everyone with before we end today?
Dude, for real. I think that what I learned the most out of this whole entire event, man, this whole entire thing is that, dude, like, we got to just feel the pull of God's love to draw closer to him so that we can also draw closer to each other.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we got to draw closer to him and he will teach us how to better relate to each other, man. And honestly, I feel like that's the purpose of living. It's connecting. It's reaching out to people. It's embracing people, no matter what the season.
Yeah.
COVID or no COVID.
COVID or no COVID.
There you go.
I think now more than ever, getting to know people behind the mask. Maybe that should be the next series we do. People behind the mask. You know, because like, you know, we're only getting maybe 20% of someone's face now. Unless they have like a bigger forehead, they might get a little more percentage. But getting to know someone behind the face and getting to know someone for who they are, for what their story is, I think that's beneficial. I think we need to start doing that more.
Exactly.
And seeing people as they are, seeing people as God has seen them. That's important, man.
I believe it, bro. I agree. If they wear socks to sleep or not. Honestly.
Even there's room in heaven for sock wearers to bed.
Hey,
there's room in heaven for that. Hey, listen, we want to make sure that we keep this going as best we can. You know, I definitely want to keep this podcast going just because I think it's a good way to talk to everyone and get more stories in here.
I completely believe it, bro. Honestly, if the people watching right now would like to comment, if you want to see this come back, put it in the chat. Do you want more of the table? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? You want it to be a part of your, I don't know, regular
scheduled programming.
You know? Exactly. Do you want to come and be a part of the Nook?
Yeah. If you want to be a part of the Nook, go ahead and put and say Nook. I'm a Nookie.
Right? A Nookie?
We'll call them Nookies.
Hey.
Or Nooksters. I think Nooksters are
Nooksters. I like Nooksters. Yeah.
I think Nooksters are
the Nook.
A good thing. Well, we want to wrap up the show now, and we want to thank you guys so much for supporting us and supporting this podcast and supporting the stories that we've had on here. We really hope that you continue to further your relationship with God and further your relationship with your fellow person. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Have a blessed week. And we just hope that God's love reigns true in your life. thank you all so much for joining us at the table.
The table.
We love you guys.
Peace out, guys.